Okay, selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. So this week is week 4, fourth week of the lecture. And in this Wednesday class, this is 1 hour class for FEI 4306. So we have only 1 hour class for this week because tomorrow there will be a public holiday. So in this week, I will start discussing the topic 2, which is about mathematical modeling. Okay, so you can see on my left hand side, this is my lecture slides, and the other side on my right is my lecture notes. So this is a blank lecture notes. So I will start writing. I will start writing like this. So if you can see it, means that it will be no problem. If I am having problem from my side, please let me know. Okay, so for the control system, we have 5 topics. So this is the second topic, which is mathematical modeling. One of the important parts of control system. Before we start with the designing the control system, we should start from understanding the physical system first, right? So to understand the physical system, what we normally do is to address it in the form of mathematical model. Okay, so for this topic, we have a lot of subtopics here to be discussed. Start from an introduction, in which in the introduction, I'll just start with some the introduction of the mathematical modeling. Okay, how do we deal with mathematical modeling to design a control system, which is just a background about mathematical modeling in the control system, and then the approach used by design engineers in designing the control system also will be discussed in this introduction subtopic. And then at the end of the introduction, I will discuss about summary of dynamical system modeling. Okay, so we have some 3 points to discuss in the first in the beginning of the subtopic, which is 2.1 here, the introduction. Firstly, approach used by the control system engineers or design engineers in designing the control system. And then I'm going to talk about how do we deal with mathematical modeling. To design control system. Okay, and then I will also talk about summary of dynamical system. Most of the physical system, it is dynamics, meaning that we have to deal with differential equations. So we will find some ordinary differential equation. Some of more complex model will have some partial differential equation. Okay, so I hope that in the previous courses that you take, the courses that you take previously have covered some of the topics about differential equations. So mainly in this discussion in mathematical modeling for topic 2, we'll be talking about differential equation, formulating the physical system based on differential equation. Okay, you will find some laws, physical laws, right? Like Hooke's law, Newton's second law, Kirchhoff current or voltage laws. So banyak lagi laws lah yang akan. So perlu refine balik lah apa yang belajar sebelum ni ya. Okay, in the 2.2, so after 2.1 introduction, after a bit of introduction, I will start with 2.2, which is differential equations of physical systems. So the first topic start with differential equation of the physical system, all right? So here we describe about variables. We describe about variables, and most of them are variables. You will be introduced to the variables like true variable, and also the across variable and true variable. What is the difference between true variable and across variable when we designing the system using differential equation? Okay, so in differential equation we deal with variable, derivative, integration, so and so on, and then for that particular variable we will see the difference between true variable and also across variable. So we will go in more detail about those. Okay, so I hope that we can finish 2.1 and 2.2 in this 1 hour session. I don't know I can cover it until I finish or not, but I will try. Okay, so the beginning of topic 2, I'll start with 2.1. 2.1, which is introduction. Okay, so in the introduction, you see the slides, right? Okay, so basically control system design and analysis is part of engineering design. Control system design and analysis is part of engineering design. If we have the group of engineering design like this, so this is engineering design. So control system design is part of it. So this is control system design and analysis, right? And control system design and analysis is, we can say that it is one of the branch of engineering design, one of the branch of engineering design. So what does the control system engineers do? If you are an engineer dealing with control system, what is your job scope? What actually you do? So what does the control system engineers do? Okay, buat apa? Basically, what they do is basically they design the system, meaning that design the control system, design a system by means of apa dia? Yes, mathematical modeling. You should have some strong background in mathematical modeling. If you are working for a company deal with not only the electrical but also mechanical, but you are the control system engineers. So you should understand mathematical modeling and the physical system of not only electrical system but also the mechanical system. If you are aeronautic engineers, those who design the aeroplane also. anything like everything like something, for example, deal with thermodynamics dalam power plant combustion dalam pipes tu kan ada macam control system design, dia akan design industrial control system so ada yang deal with not only electrical but also the heat, thermodynamics, fluid, banyak lagi lah. So all of those need some background in mathematical modeling. So what does the control system engineers do? Basically, what they do is they deal with mathematical modeling to describe the physical system. So here we are going to learn more details about mathematical modeling. So basically mathematical modeling is used to describe behavior of a physical system. Another keywords here is physical system. Physical system, even though we are in electrical and electronics, so most of the time we consider physical system of electronic system. But control system engineers, as you know, that they deal with not only one field of engineering. So meaning that it is quite broad lah dia punya bidang. So we deal with physical system. We are going to talk about physical system. For example, in the topic, in this topic, we will be describing the physical system of electronic like RLC circuit, and also I'll be talking about the spring behavior, okay, torsional spring, damping system, spring damping system that is used in the car damping. Okay. So physical system is important here. So we should know some things like the law of, let's say if we are dealing with thermodynamics, so we should know the law of thermodynamics. If we deal with spring, we should know the law about spring. For example, Hooke's law, okay? Hooke's law is one of them. And also Newton's second law. So Newton's second law applies in most in most system. Dia agak universal lah, Newton's second law kan. Awak belajar fizik, law yang pertama awak belajar adalah Newton's second law. Bukan Newton's second law. Newton ada tiga kan. First law, second law and third law. Okay. Biasanya F equals to MA lah. Iaitu Newton's second law. So when we deal with physical system, it is something, okay, let me just write first. Okay, we deal with physical system, but when we deal with physical system, in real world, the physical system behave like physical system in real world. So physical system in real world is apa? Ada sifat dia, physical, physical system in real world. Firstly, it is something, we can say that something that is complex, something that is complex. And also, it is non-linear, which is dynamics. Okay, it is complex and dynamics. Physical system biasanya complex and dynamics. Contoh, dalam circuit ni, kita ada current source untuk kita represent the solar cell. Okay, we want to represent the solar cell. by using this circuit. Okay, we have current source, which because solar cell is the current source. So kat sini ada nampak tak diode kan? Okay, diode ni dia sifat dia adalah semiconductor, which is non-linear lah kan? Semiconductor is non-linear device. So bila ada diode, if we compute the mathematical modeling to represent the voltage here, okay, to represent the voltage or current output, okay, we will deal with some differential equation. We will deal with some differential equation, right? For this particular example of equivalent circuit that represents the solar cell, all right? So it is something we should know that it is complex and dynamics for a physical system. So meaning that when we talk about something that is complex and dynamics means that it is something that is non-linear. Okay, kalau benda tu dalam characteristics of physical system, any system dekat dunia ni, kalau linear senang lah kerja kita kan. So all of them are non-linear. So what we do? So how do we deal with the non-linearity? So how do we deal with non-linearity of the physical system? Okay, basically what we do is we use the mathematical modeling to transfer or to convert the non-linearity of a system into something like, we can say, linear. This is the method, linear approximation. Dah belajar linear approximation. So in this case, non-linearity of a physical system, we convert it to we transfer it. We do the linear approximation, okay, basically by using Laplace. This is Laplace transform. Takut ya, nampak Laplace transform, takut lah. Sebenarnya tak adalah susah sangat, tapi kena faham lah ya. Daripada time domain katalah kita ada satu differential equation yang non-linear in time domain. So we convert it into the S domain menggunakan Laplace transform. Okay. So we use the Laplace transform method to do some linear approximation of a system, of a non-linear system. Okay. And then after that, we represent, once we do the linear approximation of that non-linear system, then after that we represent it in the form of transfer function. Okay, so this is the transfer functions. So we represent that, sebab kalau tengok transfer function tu ada S kan, mean that this is Laplace kan. So we represent it in the form of transfer function that has the input signal and output signal. So dah nampak sikit dalam introduction, topik introduction, kita banyak menggunakan block diagram. Block diagram to represent the control system. Okay, to represent the control system, we represent it in the form of block diagram lah, something like this. Ada block controller kan, ada summing point, ada plant, and then ada output. Okay, so ini plant HS katalah. Ini controller GS. dia punya transfer function untuk controller GS, model je lah. Kita dah buat model dan dah transfer kepada dalam bentuk transfer function gunakan Laplace transform. So kita ada blok-blok macam ni. So kita dapat output. Then kita juga menggunakan sensor. Sensor juga kita boleh model lah. Sensor. Kita boleh model sensor juga untuk design a closed loop control system. As you can see in this simple example of a block diagram that shows the control system block diagram, we have the first block here and then the second block that is represented by the transfer function. So in this system, basically what we do is, as you can see for GS, it has input of GS and also input of GS. Okay, let me just show it like this. For the GS block, we have input and output of GS block, which is the control block. Similarly, the output of the HS block, output of this transfer function block is, output of GS block, this transfer function block, this output is actually input of the plant. So this output is actually input of the plant. Input of HS and got output of HS. So kita ada input output untuk dua blok tu kan. Then in more advanced and more in terms of we are going to find the solution for this control block diagram. We will try to simplify it into only one single block. Okay, only one single block. So we will learn how to convert the multi-block control system block diagram into just one single block, which is like this. So adalah equation dia. So equation dia akan jadi lebih panjang lah, transfer function itu untuk single block macam ni. Okay. So moving on to the second slide. Oh, dah hampir setengah jam dah. Slide pertama baru. Okay. Actually we have untuk slide ni saya dah masuk dah sebenarnya. Saya bagi pada yang ni. Okay. So nampak tak kat situ? In control system, we represent the input-output relationship for components and subsystem in the form of transfer function. So the definition of the transfer function, it is the ratio of Laplace transform of output to Laplace transform of input. Okay, kita ada output YT, kita ada input XT. We convert this into Laplace transform. We use the Laplace transform to convert it. Okay, so output and input ni kita ada YT, which is output. This time domain. Kita ada YT, kita transform kepada YS. Kita ada XT, kita transform kepada XS. Right? So in this particular system, we cannot compute the transfer function of HT, because in this system it becomes YT equals to XT. Nampak tak star ni? Star represents the convolution. So YT equals to XT, the convolution of XT and HT. Pernah belajar tak convolution? So convolution in time domain. So in system like signal and system, saya rasa dah belajar ni. In system, it is hard to deal with convolution in time domain. That is why we use the Laplace transform. Because when we convert this, when we convert yt equals to xt convolution of xt and ht like that. So this is convolution. This is convolution. It is hard for us to solve the convolution in time domain. Basically, what we do is to make it simpler by converting to Laplace transform in the form of Laplace transform, which is ys, hs. So, bila dalam keadaan Laplace transform, dia akan jadi darab ataupun kali. So, bila kita nak dapatkan hs, which is the transfer function of any of that particular block of the system, so hs simply ys by divided by hs. Okay. So that is why we use the Laplace transform. Okay. So block diagram like this is a convenient tool for designing complicated control system. All right. So next is in the introduction. In designing a dynamic system, we will try to follow these rules lah, which is the approach of dynamic system modeling. So dynamical system modeling, basically we follow these rules, which is summary. Saya tulis lah, summary of dynamical system modeling. When we do modeling of a dynamical system, non-linear system, we will try to follow these rules, which is the first one, define the system and its component. First thing first, we need to define the system and its component. Okay. Number two, the rule is formulate the mathematical model with some assumptions. Formulate the mathematical model with some assumption. Mesti ada assumption lah. Kita bukan perfect. Kita manusia kan. Kita tak perfect. So kita nak faham sesuatu, kita menggunakan mathematical model. Tetapi ada dia punya tahap dia lah. Tak tercapai akal kita. Betul tak? So kita buat some assumption. Kita buat assumption lah dalam mathematics ni. Kita buat assumption lah. Kita tak boleh nak model semua sekali sampai perfect jadi kan. Tak boleh. Kalau tak, kita boleh buat lah benda tu. Kita bukan Tuhan nak buat something kan. Itu beza kita dengan pencipta kita. Okay. So, number 3. After we formulate the mathematical model with some assumptions, we should obtain the differential equation. We obtain the differential equation. DE. Dalam kes ni, differential equation saya akan short formkan sebagai DE. So, number 4 is, once we get the differential equation, kita tak faham lagi kan. Kita baru dapat satu equation, mathematical model equation. in the form of differential equation. So to understand the behavior of a system, we, of course, when we have a differential equation, apa yang kita belajar dalam dalam mathematics ataupun dalam calculus, biasanya kita nak cari root dia lah kan, ataupun kita nak solve for the equation for the desired. Bila kita solve tu baru kita faham. So dia punya behavior macam ni. Okay. The desired output variable. Ada input and output. Bila kita solve differential equation dalam ni kan, bila kita solve katalah HSGS, katalah sistem nama dia M. Bila kita solve the differential equation of M system, then we understand what is output. If we put some input, so what is output? Right? And then finally, number 5. Rule number 5 is examine the solution and assumption. Valid tak kita punya assumption tadi? Okay, kita check balik lah. Solution kita tu valid tak? Bila kita dapat root, dalam kita nak selesaikan equation kan, kita dapat dia punya root, x sama dengan x1 sama dengan berapa, x2 sama berapa. Kita ganti balik kan dalam equation untuk check balik. Betul tak? Kita punya calculation tu. Betul tak? So, this is some kind of validation lah. So we have several blocks here to start with, to deal with. I'm going to make it like this. First, we define the system and its component. Second, formulate the mathematical model with some assumptions. Okay. So from block pertama pergi ke block kedua. And then block ketiga, obtain the DE. Obtain the differential equation. Pergi ke block yang ketiga. Saya lukis macam ni lah. So number 4. We solve for the equation, the differential equation for the desired output variable. Apa yang kita nak lah, kita solve bergantung kepada apa kita punya desired output variable. After we solve it, we examine the solution. Kita solve, kita dapat solution. And then kita check balik, solution tu okay ke tak. We examine the solution. And if necessary, dia ada loop. Naik atas balik. Apa dia? Maksudnya, if necessary, reanalyze or redesign the system. Kalau kita buat validation kat sini, kita punya assumption tu tak tepat. So, kita kena patah balik. So, that's it. In designing a robust control system, it is continuously happen. Maksudnya, kita sentiasa improve lah. Kita punya sentiasa improve kita punya closed loop system itu. So, the last part is if necessary, we should reanalyze or redesign the system. Okay. So, habis untuk 3 slide bahagian introduction. Alright. So, untuk seterusnya, saya akan terus saja untuk describe about this spring mesh 2.2, which is the differential equations of a physical system. Okay, next is differential equation of physical system. 2.2 is about, saya tulis penuh lah sebab tajuk differential equation of physical systems. Okay, for this particular subtopic, we will be using some example to understand what is true variable, what is cross variable. We have true variable, a cross variable, two types of variable to deal with. Okay. So differential equation describing dynamic behavior or performance of a physical system, right? And they are obtained by utilizing the physical laws of the process. We use DE, okay, di bawah ni. So DE that describe dynamic behavior or performance of a physical system obtained by utilizing the physical laws. Law of apa? Law of thermodynamic ke, law Hooke's law ke, apa-apa law lah, Newton second law ke. Yang tu kena patah balik pada fizik ataupun mechanics kan. Physical law of the process. Alright. So basically, for example, physical law means let's say in this case we are going to discuss about spring. Okay, we are going to discuss about spring. So springs normally what we use is we use the Hooke's law. F equals to Kx kan. Contoh Hooke's law, to deal with Hooke's law to describe the spring behavior. So let us start with developing an ordinary differential equation by using an example of torsional spring mass system. We start with understanding the difference between what is true variable, what is a cross variable with this sort of system, which is torsional spring mass system. So we have a torsional spring mass system. Here we have spring, we have a mass M, ada spring kat sini. So kita nak cuba twistkan menggunakan torque TA. Let's say this is massless spring. Kita assume that this spring is massless. Mass yang efeknya adalah mass untuk yang ni, objek ni saja. So kita sambung kat objek ni, kita nak twistkan. Okay. Bila saya twistkan, saya bagi torque pada bahagian ni, TA. Pada masa yang sama, dia akan ada omega A, which is angular punya, bila kita ada twisting force, dia ada angular rate lah. Dia panggil angular rate lah. Omega A ni angular rate dekat bahagian bawah ni. So dia akan transfer variable tu ke bahagian atas lah. Jadi bahagian atas TS. Okay, torque of TS. Similarly for omega A, dia jadi transfer kepada omega S. Omega A jadi omega S, TA jadi TS. Okay, dia transfer lah daripada torque dengan angular rate tu. Okay, so in this case kita nak we want to measure the torque TS transmitted to the mass M. Bila kita twistkan kat bawah ni, kita nak tahu torque yang transmit kepada objek ni, objek M, iaitu TS lah. Okay, so that is the thing that we are going to do in this example of torsional spring. Okay, let me just lukis the mass like that. Sorry for my ugly lukisan. So I have a spring like that. So I apply some torque T A ya. So saya apply torque TA untuk sampai kepada mass M tu kan. Okay. So this spring is massless lah. Massless spring. We assume that here comes the assumption, which is assumption kita spring ni massless. So dia tak bagi kesan kepada twisting force ataupun torque yang kita apply tu. Yang bagi kesan adalah yang ni. So meaning that the mass of this object is large enough as compared to the mass of this spring. Okay, so we can just translate this into another drawing, which is if I draw a free body diagram of this spring. So I apply tau A and it will cause the angular rate of omega A. Okay, and then that variables will be transferred to the top part, which is tau S and also omega S. Okay, we want to relate this tau A and omega A to tau S and omega S. So we apply this torque. Let me just write something here. We apply torque, bukan T ya. Torque tu adalah tau tau A that cause what? Angular rate. Dia panggil angular rate. Omega tu angular rate, omega A. Okay. So we apply torque tau A that cause omega rate omega A. That cause angular rate which is omega A kan. Asal betul-betul lukis agak A kat sini, nampak tak? Okay. Then this input variable cause output variable. So tau A and omega A, this is the input variable. Kita nak belajar cara kita nak buat block diagram apa semua tu, kita kena relatekan input variable dengan output variable. Macam contoh yang tadi tu, block diagram yang ni kan. Dia ada input variable untuk control system GS, dia ada output variable of the controller block diagram of GS. Okay, so we deal with cause and effect problem. Cause and effect problem. So in this case, we have input variable of tau A and omega A that will transfer some from this system, the spring torsional mass spring system, will transfer the TS and omega S at the output. Alright. So these input variable, maknanya tau A dengan omega A, cause output variable. So kalau kita lukis block diagram, ini spring pelan tu adalah spring. So input variable-nya adalah omega A dan tau A. So kita nak tahu dia punya tau S. Kita punya relationship lah. Tau S dengan omega S. Okay. Okay. So we have TS atau saya sebut T juga. Tau ST, tau ST that transmitted. Torque. And omega ST transmitted angular rate. Okay, VS. Maknanya daripada omega A, tau A ni ada transmitted angular rate and transmitted torque represented by TS and omega S, or omega S and TS respectively. Okay, so next, so how do we relate these variables? Input and output variable. How do we relate them? How do we relate? So, how do we relate? So, how do we relate these four variables? How do we relate these variables? Meaning that kita ada tau A, kat output dia jadi tau S. Kita ada omega A, kat output dia jadi omega S. Macam mana kita nak kaitkan? Ataupun kita nak relatekan lah. So in this case, since the spring is massless, we make some assumption that the spring is massless. Massless, bukan malas, massless. Since the spring is massless, the sum of the torque acting on the spring must be zero. Okay, so dalam kita punya assumption that spring is massless, jadi yang berpindah tu semua yang tu jugalah. Tau A dia pindah jadi tau S kan. Omega A dia jadi omega S. Dia tak ada kesan kepada spring tadi. Berat spring tidak memberi kesan. Maksudnya yang transfer tu input sama dengan output yang cakap macam tu. Okay. So since the spring is massless, the sum of the torque acting on the spring must be zero. Okay, so in other words, tau A equals to tau S. Input equals to output. And then, so here, external torque tau A dah 10 lah. Saya pun tak perasan. Okay, so mungkin ada yang ada kelas. Saya nak pause kejap recording ni. Here, the external torque tau A applied at the end of the spring is transmitted through. We can say that the external torque tau A applied at the end of the spring, kat bawah, bahagian bawah tadi, at the end of the spring is transmitted. Torque dia transmitted. Transmitted what? Through. Transmitted through torsional spring. Apa yang transmitted through? Torque. Torque. Tau A. tau A transmitted through. Okay, so therefore we can say that it is a true variable. Apa yang true variable kat sini? Torque. Torque adalah true variable. Meaning that in this case, torque is transmitted through the spring. Okay, let me just draw a little bit. Something like that. So when we apply tau A, we apply tau A at the time t, let's say at the time 0 lah, the beginning. Okay, this torque will be transmitted through this spring menjadi tau S at another time. Okay, jadi tau S. So this is what we call as true variable. One simple example I can show you that when we talk about, this is mechanical system, spring. Spring is a mechanical system. When we talk about similar thing like kita buat hari-hari kan, kita deal with this sort of thing hari-hari, mesti kita akan jumpa dalam seminggu, mesti kita akan jumpa lah kita punya electric circuit kan. So this is an example which is current. Current is another example of true variable. The current will be passing through this resistance. Kita ada input and output. Of this element, of resistive element, input and output. So current is another example of the true variable. So for this particular system, for this particular example of the spring, torque here is the true variable, which is like what we deal with current in electrical system or electrical circuit. It will pass through the resistor. So current is another example of the true variable. Similarly, we can do for omega t. Okay, in this case omega t lah in general lah. So this is the angular rate. So the angular rate difference associated with the torsional spring element is, so we can draw another equation for omega t, which is omega t equals to omega st minus omega a t. So omega t adalah the difference between output and input. Okay, output angular rate and input of the angular rate. So tadi torque spring tu massless, dia akan transfer TA jadi TS. Tapi untuk omega ni, omega ataupun angular rate, it is defined as omega t equals to omega s minus omega a, output minus input. Okay. So for this case, for omega case, where omega t is measured, another keyword which is across the torsional spring element. So we can say that this omega is the across variable. So this omega, which omega? This omega. Omega lah. We are talking about this omega in general because this omega is the difference of these two omega kat output dengan kat input. The difference we get omega t. So this omega is a cross variable. So we have two keywords here, true variable, satu, true variable for torque and a cross variable for omega. Okay, this example is similar to the case of resistor tadi. Let's say resistor ni, saya nak crop sikit. Resistor ni, saya nak copy dia. Copy. So, remember this resistor tadi, current adalah true variable. Okay? Alamak, saya nak buang yang ni macam mana? Alamak, tak apalah. Okay, balik. Saya nak buang yang tu, yang dalam tu. Okay? We have this resistor. The similar case for, can you guess? Similar case for voltage. Okay, so across variable ni like a voltage across variable of the omega tadi, like a voltage across the resistor. So voltage difference V is, katalah ni V2, V1 kan. Kalau ada resistor, voltage akan drop. V1 dia drop kepada V2, voltage drop lah. So voltage drop across resistor V21, kita katakan V21 tu adalah V2 tolak V1. So this is V21 kan. Itulah dia punya example. The difference between cross variable and true variable. Okay. So let's have a check in the summary. We have a summary here in table 2.1 as the textbook. Summary of true and across variable for physical system. So when we deal with physical system, remember that we are dealing with not only the electrical system, but also some other dominant in engineering, which is mechanical system, like mechanical translational. Translational means straight lines. If F equals to MA in the straight line, kita panggil translational. Mechanical rotational is torque. So torque is analogous to F. Kita belajar dalam mekanik, mechanics and wave. Dan kita belajar juga dalam sedikit revision lah dalam electrical machine. Siapa yang ambil electrical machine tu, torque is analogous to force. Maknanya torque tu ialah twisting force actually dalam rotational system. So mechanical translational yang straight lines. Force kita tolak objek tu dalam straight line kan. Tapi kita nak bayangkan force itu dalam bentuk rotational, like flywheel kan. Kita represent menggunakan torque. Okay, represent menggunakan torque. So we have a lot of variable for the system, electrical system. True variable is current. Okay, and then integrated true variable is charge. And across variable is voltage, and integrated across variable is flux linkage. For table 2.1 ini, ini habiskan ke? Sekejap, tengok. Ya juga. Nomenclature, example mechanical system. Saya nak habiskan sampai example mechanical system for this recording. Siapa yang ada kelas boleh Terus masukkan slide, tak masalah. Saya nak teruskan recording so that you can watch later. Okay. So we have, for example, for table 2.1 here. For this lecture notes, I just write table 2.1. I didn't write all, so you can just write summary of true and cross variable of physical system in your lecture notes. Okay, so for the first example, it is an electrical system. What system is it? Is an electrical system. Normally, in electrical system, Q equals to C V21, kan? Q equals to CV, ingat tak? Q equals to CV. We have wire, and then we have current as a true variable I, and then a cross variable voltage. Let's say in this case, saya nak guna 1 dan 2, which is V ni sebenarnya V21 lah. Okay, V adalah V21. Ataupun biasanya delta V kan, which is the cross variable untuk V. Current is true variable. So Q kat sini adalah integrated charge. Charge adalah integrated true variable. Okay. The integrated true variable for current is charge. Okay. And then integrated across variable for voltage is flux linkages. Dia ada relationship lah. Flux linkages. Ingat tak flux linkages? Kalau belajar dalam mesin juga. Mesin juga. So ada relationship lah. Control system ni kita relatekan dengan mesin juga. Let's say this is inductor lah, coil of wire. So bila kita bagi current kat dia, kat coil ni, saya bagi current kat coil ni, current I, apa yang berlaku? Flux akan terhasil kan? Flux akan terhasil untuk the first N sama dengan 1, yang bawah sekali ni, loop yang bawah sekali ni, dia akan menghasilkan flux phi 1. The second one, N sama 2, dia akan menghasilkan flux phi 2. So and so on until N kah, which is phi N, kan, dalam kes ni. So flux linkages adalah semua, untuk semua lah, dia linkage dia macam continuously. Bila kita satu loop, okay, menghasilkan phi 1. Okay, untuk semua sekali, kita totalkan semua. Dia panggil flux linkages. That is the definition of flux linkages. So untuk flux linkages dalam kes inductor ni, dia adalah across variable. So flux linkages is across variable. Okay, and then another example. The first one is electrical system. The second one example is mechanical translational. Remember, I just told you that translational means straight line lah. Straight lines. Let's say in this case, okay, translational means linear. Okay, ataupun straight line. Any object moving in a straight line, we can say that it is translational motion. Okay, straight line. Okay, so translational mean straight line. So dalam kes ni, yang kedua ni, mechanical translational, dia punya true variable is force. Okay, Force is a true variable. Remember the equation. Dalam mekanik juga, dalam mekanik, dalam mesin pun ada, saya ada bincang sikit kan. Power, kita compute power. Sorry, not power, momentum. Ini berkenaan dengan mechanical kan. So, P represents momentum. P is momentum in mechanical translation. Saya ingatkan P ya. Kita dah terbiasa dengan electrical, P tu power kan. So, basically, P is momentum is defined as force times the V21. So V is velocity lah, velocity difference. So velocity difference is a cross variable. F is true variable that compute the P, which is the momentum, translational momentum, which is the integrated true variable. Saya nak pisahkan dua ni. So P is integrated true variable. Similarly, for the third case, ada satu lagi sebenarnya, displacement difference is integrated across variable. So, dia semua ada relationship. Force, momentum, velocity difference and displacement difference. Cuma kita nak separate kan mana satu across variable, mana satu true variable. Okay, number 3, kita ada contoh mechanical rotation. Rotational motion, flywheel ke apa-apa saja, dalam Watts flyball governor tu kan ada mechanical rotational mechanical rotational punya sistem. Flyball tu sebenarnya dia sensor sebenarnya, tapi kita nak describe sensor tu dalam bentuk mechanical rotation. Okay, so dia ada equation which is H H equals to tau omega 21, which is this H is actually di J lah. Dalam kita punya mechanics, dalam saya punya electrical machine, saya represent moment of inertia. Moment of inertia J sebagai J. Dalam case ni, dalam buku teks ni, dia represent as H. H kecil kan. So, kita dah biasa dengan J equals to tau omega. So, dalam case ni, H equals to tau omega kan. H equals to tau omega. So, I hope you can do it like this lah. Kenal pasti dia punya true variable, cross variable for this equation. So, nombor 4 fluid. Fluid kita jarang belajar fluid. Kita bukan belajar mechanics. Kita banyak ke arah, biasa kita banyak ke arah mechanical. Electrical ni ke arah banyak relate dengan mechanical. And then fluid equation dah V volume equals to pressure P21 times the flow rate. Fluid volumetric flow rate. Fluid volumetric rate of flow ataupun flow rate lah. And then number 5 example is thermal. Thermal, something about heat. So thermal heat energy H is QT. T temperature difference. Heat energy H. Q is heat flow rate. Okay, so that is for thermal. So dia menggunakan simbol-simbol yang hampir sama ada Q charge in coulomb, charge for electrical system kita guna Q juga kan. Apa lagi P kan, ada P lagi kat sini. Sebenarnya P yang ni adalah P untuk pressure kan, P untuk pressure. P yang ni untuk momentum. Dalam electrical kita guna P juga untuk power. Nanti kita akan pergi satu lagi bahagian nomenclature lah. Macam mana dia nak spreadkan variable-variable tu dalam buku teks ni lah, dalam buku teks DOF. So ada satu lagi table sebenarnya. Yang ni lebih detail lah berkenaan dengan equation yang terlibat. Contohnya, you can have a check on table 2.2. Start from here. The beginning, which is type of element is inductive storage. So different laws governing the element of inductive storage. Electrical inductance, translational spring, physical element of electric inductance, translational spring, rotational spring, free inertia, dia punya equation ada kat sini lah. Okay. Let's say for electrical inductance, V21 is L di by dt kan. So electrical inductance belum wire tu kan. Untuk table 2.2 ini, the first one is electrical inductance. Saya pick up tak semua lah, saya pick up certain contoh saja. Electrical inductance, kita dah biasa ni, dia punya differential equation. Kita nak cari V across the inductance. V equals to L, which is the inductance of that particular inductor. L di, the rate of change of current across that pass through that inductor. Okay. So, L ni adalah dia punya inductance. Kita tahu kan. Saya tulis juga. Okay. Let's say I have this particular inductor. Current is passing through this inductor. Current masuk macam ni kan. This is current. Apa yang berlaku untuk L ni, given that this inductor has L Henry in Henry, so the voltage here is V2 and this is V1. We have that current, so we can calculate the cross variable V21 as L di by dt kan. Okay. And another equation that relates this example for electrical inductance, we can also compute the energy energy. Saya tulis penuh energy, which is E equals to half of Li square. Ingat semua equation tu E equals to Li square energy for the electrical inductance. Begitu juga dengan second example. Dia punya equation for translational spring. Let's say we can describe it by using Hooke's law. Okay, untuk second example ni, kenapa V21 jadi 1 over K dF over dt? Kenapa jadi macam ni? Saya tunjukkan calculation dia. Kita gunakan Hooke's law, F equals to Kx kan? And we know that the speed is distance divided by masa kan? Meter per second untuk speed. Okay. So, kita boleh relatekan dengan equation ni. So, X adalah VT kan. K gantikan VT. Nampak tak sebelah ni? X adalah VT. So, gantikan. So, F over T transfer T ke belah kiri, kita dapat sebelah kanan adalah kV. Then rearrange it untuk kita dapatkan V sebenarnya. So V is 1 over K S over T. Betul tak? So in this case, let's say this is V21. In this case, V21 is 1 over K dF dt, the rate of change of force. And then similarly for the energy, in the Hooke's law, dalam Hooke's law, kita boleh calculate juga energy, which is half of energy E juga. Dia gunakan simbol E juga. Half of F square by K kan. So kita tahu F is Kx. Saya nak substitute saja. F is Kx. Bila Kx square ni, K square X square divided by K. So yang tinggal je lah yang bahagian atas lah. Tengah, jadi setengah Kx square lah. Itu untuk energy. Which is we have this sort of spring. Kadang-kadang lukis spring dah macam inductor juga. So K is the spring constant. Katalah saya ada F attached ni. Dan spring tu bergerak kan. Dia punya distance adalah X kan. Okay. Kita ada sikit lagi ya. Translational mass. Sebelum saya masuk tu. Ada yang kekal lagi? Ada lagi. Apalah, tunggu kelas next class pukul 11. Okay, so next we have translational mass. Kita dah habis translational spring. How about translational mass? Yang ni berkenaan dengan capacitive storage. Translational mass ada equation dia juga. Okay. Untuk kategori type of element of capacitive storage, we have translational mass of physical element. The governing equation for the force equals to m dv2 by dt. Okay, so energy E is half of mv2 square. Okay, let's have a look at the translational mass. The equation. This is capacitive storage element ya. Nombor 3. Translational mass. So remember this is capacitive storage element. So dia punya differential equation for translational mass. Let's say F force is m dv2 dt. So this is actually, ingat tak, ini adalah acceleration kan. So the rate of change of velocity is acceleration. And energy E is half of mv square. Energy apa ni? Ingat tak? E equals to half of mv square. This is the kinetic. Kan? Satu lagi potential energy. Okay. Let's say if I lukis this, if I draw this, it is we have M input and output V1 V2. So let's say V1 is constant. That's why dalam equation ni dia guna V2 je kan. Dalam equation ni guna V2 je. V2 je. dV2 ni. V2. dV2 dt half of mv2 square. Because V1 is constant. And number 4, rotational mass. Which category? Capacity storage juga. Rotational mass, ingat tak equation untuk torque? Rotational mass, katalah ada flywheel. Okay, kita apply some torque. Dia pun pusing. Dia pun pusing. Okay. So torque J d omega dt ataupun J alpha. Kita dah jumpa ni dalam mesin pun ada. Dalam mesin pun ada. Which is J is moment of inertia. Kaedah paling senang adalah memorize sajalah. Tapi kena fahamlah sebenarnya torque adalah moment of inertia times angular acceleration kan. Angular acceleration. So angular acceleration is the rate of change of angular speed. If we take the derivative of angular speed, we get the angular acceleration. J is analogous to mass lah. J is analogous to mass. Let's say J kan. J is moment of inertia, which is analogous to mass. Alpha is analogous to acceleration lah. Alpha F equals to ma, ingat tak? So kita untuk equation untuk torque ni, torque equals to J alpha. Ni untuk yang merah tu, untuk rotational mass. Yang merah ni untuk rotational mass. Kalian nak tulis dah. Yang merah ni untuk rotational mass. Yang biru ni untuk apa keywords tadi? Selain daripada rotational mass tu, selain rotation, translational. Yang atas tu untuk translational motion. Yang bawah tu adalah untuk rotational motion. Alright. We proceed to electrical resistance. This is for energy. Saya tak discuss semua lah, banyak sangat di sini electrical energy dissipators. Electrical and resistance. Electrical resistance that belongs to type of element of energy dissipators. Electrical resistance, dia punya differential equation, let's say I equals to 1 over R of V21. Okay, let's say I have a resistor V1, the other side V2 input, V1 output. So I have this R, this is R, and I pass through some current through this resistor. Okay, so current is true variable. Untuk energy atau power, in this case, let's say power P is V square R kan? Ingat tak? V21 square by R divided by R. That is power in electrical energy dissipators. Alright. Number 6. Translational damper. Translational damper. Kat mana ni? Energy dissipators juga. Damping ni baguslah dalam design. Nanti kita akan pergi lebih lanjut lagi. Damper ni dia guna dalam, saya biasa lukis ni ya. Dia guna dalam apa ni? Absorber, shock absorber. Dia ada absorber lah. Dalam tu ada sama ada gas ataupun fluid. Gas ataupun cair lah dalam tu. So kat luar ni dia ada spring lah. Ada spring. Ini adalah contoh damping system lah. Damping shock absorber ni adalah contoh damping system lah. Ini salah satu design penting dah juga dalam pembuatan kereta kan. Otomotif. Kalau tengok kereta-kereta yang mewah tu, tak rasa dia punya tu Kalau kereta sport dia keraskan ni sebab dia nak, bila nak ambil corner tu dia tak terbabas. Dia boleh keraskan damping tu dengan lembut kan. Kita boleh adjust ada adjustable shock absorber. Okay, translational damper. Let's say we have force F. Frictional force. Dia equation dia F equals to BV. Kita jumpa juga ni sebenarnya sebelum ni dalam mechanics. Do you remember? Spring damping spring damping equation in mechanics. Mechanics and wave. Penting belajar mechanics sebab bila kita belajar mekanik, kita belajar banyak motion berkaitan dengan motion, berkaitan dengan spring. Dalam real life application, we go more advanced. We learn control system that deal with that sort of physical systems. So we have finally reached to the last part, which is nomenclature. Nomenclature. So basically we have satu adalah true variable. THROUGH, true variable. Okay. Satu lagi, kita nampak dah sikit-sikit perbezaan antara true variable dengan across variable. Bila saya tanya, dalam electrical system bagi contoh true variable. Apa bagi true variable? Okay, V, voltage. Itu salah. Okay, true variable is current dalam electrical. So, nomenclature ni kita nak differentiate lah. Sebab dia banyak gunakan istilah yang sama. Velocity V sama dengan volume, sama dengan voltage, kan? So kat sini dia nak listkan supaya kita biasa familiar with, which is normally we represent the first variable is force, represented by F. Another variable is torque, represented by tau. Ada yang cakap T, boleh lah. Current is I, and Q. What is Q? We represent Q, which is fluid volumetric flow rate. Bila kita nak design dalam hydroelectricity generation, kita kena kira berapa dia punya flow rate. Baru kita dapat estimate berapa power kita dapat hasilkan. Dalam renewable energy kan, kita pergi kat satu-satu tempat macam air terjun, kita kena buat measurement dia punya flow rate. Okay, baru kita tahu baru kita boleh design berapa size penstock, berapa size turbine, berapa saiz dam yang bersesuaian yang boleh kita buat. Engineers kena tahu tu lah. Okay. Q, seterusnya Q kecil ni, Q besar flow rate, fluid volumetric flow rate. Q kecil ni biasanya kita represent heat, heat flow rate. Volume Q besar, heat Q kecil. That is for true variable. Contoh-contoh untuk true variable. Untuk across variable, saya nak letak kat tepi sikit. Gila luar. Across variable, let's say V is translational velocity. We represent omega W kecil as an angular velocity juga. Translational means straight line, linear. And then we represent V juga as a voltage. And P, pressure, is also a cross variable. Then T, we represent the temperature. So that is about nomenclature. You can refer also in the textbook for more details. So, yang ni apa ni? Nomenclature check. Mechanical system. Habis dah? Habis dah kan? Itu untuk nomenclature, true variable and across variable. Lepas tu kita ada selepas kita discuss about table 2.1 tadi, kita discuss about table 2.2, which is more details about the equations used in, for example, inductive storage, capacitive storage, so and so forth. So in inductive storage, kita ada nomenclature juga. Nomenclature for the inductive storage. So inductive storage, we represent L lah. Biasanya untuk inductive element. Okay, 1 over K represented reciprocal translational dalam spring lah ni, ataupun rotational stiffness. Okay, dalam spring And inductive storage also we use nomenclature of I, which represent the fluid inertance. Fluid inertance ni contohnya the force, which is the force difference untuk menghasilkan 1 unit volumetric cecair lah. Let's say biasa lukis ni. Contohnya kita nak menghasilkan berapa banyak cecair dalam ni kan. Let's say kita gunakan satu picagari. So picagari ni kan dia ada piston kan. Ada piston dia. Ini saya nak lukis warna merah. So berapa banyak volume untuk fluid dalam ni bergantung kepada the force difference F1, F2. Kan tu berapa banyak. Itu maksudnya fluid inertance. Dan 1 over K ni tadi, yang 1 over K ni, kita dah jumpa equation 1 over X equals to 1 over KF kan. This is for the case of spring lah. Katalah spring asalnya Tu kan. So kita pun stretchkan spring tu. Bila kita lepaskan mesh tu, dia akan stretch kan sebanyak, let's say about X lah. Daripada situ ke situ banyak X. So 1 over K is the reciprocal translational or rotational stiffness that occurs in spring. So which is the constant lah, constant in spring. Sekejap, mana? Nomenclature. Okay. Ada lagi, sikit lagi ya. Sikit lagi nak habis. Capacitive storage. Nomenclature for capacitive. Susah lah nak sebut capacitive storage lidah saya ni. Capacitive storage. Macam dalam video yang viral. Ada lagi kan? Ada lagi. Aduh. Dia nak sebut Roblox kan. Sampai habis dia tak boleh sebut Roblox. Boleh-boleh juga Roblox. Pernah tengok video? Roblox. Dia nak sebut Roblox. Sebenarnya roadblock. Roadblock. Sampai ke sudah dia tak boleh sebut. Sampai habis. Roblox dia tak boleh sebut Roblox. Macam saya nak sebut capacitive. Kita punya apa? Sense ke apa? Kan berbeza. Setiap manusia lidahnya tak sama. Capacitive. C for capacitive storage. Capacitive lah, capacitive. Okay, M represents the mass. J represents the apa dah? Moment of inertia in rotational. And then CF represents the fluid capacitance. And then CT represents the thermal capacitance. And then last but not least, it's about energy penyerap ataupun energy dissipators lah. Senang bahasa Inggeris je. Energy dissipators. Okay. We represent the first thing first come is resistance. R is resistance. B dalam mechanical, resistance dalam spring tu kan kita panggil viscous. B represents the viscous friction. So ya, kat sini pentingnya viscous friction ini dalam mechanical, engine apa semua kan, piston tu kan, kereta biasanya menggunakan minyak pelincir kan. Jadi macam-macam jenis minyak pelincir ada. Jenis mineral ke, jenis semi-sintetik ke, fully sintetik ya. Fungsi minyak-minyak pelincir tu adalah untuk tackle benda ni lah. Viscous friction. Okay. Then RF, energy dissipators. RF represents the fluid resistance. And then finally, final of the final. The final. RT is thermal resistance. Okay, saya tak tahu recording ni habis sampai berapa. So, saya expect habis dalam sejam. Tapi sebenarnya agak banyak juga material ni. So, saya akan cuba untuk buat dalam bentuk video lah. Kalau habis kelas tu, saya pause dulu. Dan saya akan sambung balik. Saya akan selesaikan dalam bentuk video lah. Supaya you all boleh tengok lah. Biasalah kalau kelas online, kelas fizikal pun sama. Nak tunggu semua orang masuk tu memang kita tak tertunggulah. Ada yang lewat 5 minit, okey lagi lah. Ada yang lewat sampai 15 minit. Kan?
So lepas ni kita akan masuk ke mechanical system. Saya nak pause habis ni. Stop recorder. So just nice lah.